Only one SNL cast member has been fired from the show twice. Here's how it happened. Some legendary performers have been fired from Saturday Night Live over the years. Sarah Silverman, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, Damon Wayans, Robert Downey Jr. But as far as anyone knows, Chris Parnell is the only cast member to have been fired not once, but twice. And honestly, that's pretty shocking because Parnell is low-key one of the most solid and reliable sketch performers in the show's history. His straight-face raps were always a highlight, especially in Lazy Sunday, and he famously earned the nickname Iceman because he never broke in a sketch. Cracked recently interviewed Parnell and learned about how he was fired twice. Basically, in the summer after his third season on the show, Parnell got sudden and surprising news that he wasn't being renewed. Quote, "There was some rumor that there was an NBC executive who didn't dig my stuff. Supposedly that was the reason." Parnell says that this came as a pretty big blow, but he was heartened to hear that his colleagues at the series were not happy he was fired. Quote, "There was a big outcry from a few of the cast members, Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, and some of the writers. They shared that with me and it definitely helped. It made me feel like, gosh, I'm not oblivious here. A lot of people are surprised by this." Ferrell and Tim Meadows apparently then told Chris Parnell that the door might not be entirely closed. So while Parnell moved back to Los Angeles, he kept some things in a storage unit in New York just in case. He said, quote, "It was a real roller coaster because I'd hear from my manager that Lorne was still thinking about it. But he got tired of waiting, so he moved the rest of his stuff to LA and decided to get on with his life. And yet, a lot of people at SNL were still fighting to get him unfired. Someone even wrote a thinly veiled sketch in protest of his firing." Parnell says T. Sean Shannon, who was one of the writers at the time, wrote this incredible sketch that I had heard about and was later able to read. He wrote this very scathing sketch of Lorne and some of the producers of the show. The idea was that I was a chef at Benihana and I'd gotten fired for no reason, and people were coming to the Benihana and asking, "What happened to Chef What's-His-Name?" It was a sort of roundabout way of singing my praises and people asking, "Why did this happen? This is ridiculous. We loved him." It was such a ballsy thing to do and it meant so much to me. And then, deep into that following season, Lorne and the producers reversed their decision and rehired Chris Parnell. He says, quote, "I went back on the 12th show of what was my 4th season. I even went and lived in a hotel for the rest of the season." He then stayed on for 4 more seasons, but after that, the show again nudged him out the door. Quote, "They let me go after my 8th season. They were giving me the opportunity to bow out on my own. By then, I'd felt good about the amount of time that I'd done there, and I was a little burnt out. But if they were going to give me another season, I wasn't going to say no. It's a freaking job, and I liked it." Sure enough, they didn't renew it, but it was okay. It wasn't a blow that time. And that's how you get fired from SNL twice.